Okay.
Come here.
All right, we are getting started on this duck house. Vanessa and I picked up this lumber from Lowe's yesterday. We still have a significant amount of 2x4s that we need to pick up, so we decided we'd have to make another trip, and we still have to get the plumbing for the pond here as well. So Vanessa and I spent nearly the last 2 hours trying to get the perfect positioning for this duck house. We've just been shifting these 4x4s around, running our 100-foot tape from the house and staking off distances and driving down the driveway and seeing how it looks, squareness to the driveway, those buildings, the house and everything. And it's been a bit of a challenging endeavor for us. We can't really get a positioning that we really like. So what we decided to do is kind of what we did with the Amish buildings that we put up in a couple of videos ago. We're going to scale back all this brush. We got to take a couple of these branches off, to move that lumber, clear this brush. We're going to try and move the whole duck house back. So I'm going to get started on that now. There's a gardener snake under there. Oh, that red one's right there. Oh, it's brown. Oh, you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
So yeah, we'll pick back up tomorrow. Start with clearing all this underbrush out, trimming these trees, and then getting this frame in position where we want it. Sadly, I know that's going to take more time than I would like it to, but want to get it right. It's going to be there for a long time, so we want to make sure it's in the right spot and it looks nice.
Why are you so nippy?
Alright, so we moved the structure from this area to over here. I got all of the brush cleaned out from under the trees here, which I think actually makes it look a lot better. This is kind of just a rough idea of where it's going to go. He didn't like that.
Should I just like hold him maybe? They seem to not mind that. Okay.
Alright, got the foundation leveled up. So next I'm going to start framing up the walls, and then I'll move on to digging the hole for the pond. Got the pond dug out for the most part. I think I got two of the most challenging parts of this build done, thankfully. One being getting the foundation level, and then two being digging out this massive hole. I'm going to install a drain in this corner here, so I'm going to kind of grade this a little bit so the water kind of falls over here. So I got to touch that up a bit, and then I'm going to dig a trench right out here. I'll have a little grate right here where I can lift the lid off, turn the lever, open the valve, water will drain out from the pond and just kind of run out and drain in this area over here. I'm not really sure what 270 gallons will do. I don't know if it's going to saturate this ground a ton. We have seemed to acquire some friends in our pond liner last night. Got two toads there. And that is a toad on a mouse.
Man.
Ah, God. Alright, I got the hole framed out and dug out for the drain for the pond. So the drain will go right there, and then we're going to run it all the way down there. We're going to put a shut off in that box right around here, so you can turn the lever, drain the water, and then we'll run another drain. We just got 2-inch PVC to run the rest of the way, and I think I'm going to drill holes kind of throughout to let it disperse the water evenly. I thought that was going to be a deep enough trench, but I didn't consider having to dig this hole out deeper to compensate for the 90-degree little PVC piece that has to kind of go in the ground, as well as this also has to be there. It'll look something like this. We'll have the 90 right about there. The 90 will sit like right there, and this will sit pretty much just under the liner, and then there's a threaded piece that goes on top of the liner that I'll screw here. And we have this whole area pitched, so it'll naturally drain this way. I just dug this box out and framed it out, and I didn't consider that when I dug this trench originally, so now I'm going to work on digging this depth the rest of the way, and I probably got to go a good 6 to 8 inches deeper down there for the water to pitch naturally. Alright, I got the drain installed. I had to take a bit of a break because it started to pour on us, which is a good thing. We actually really needed the rain, but I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the PVC and everything dry fitted and just kind of do a test run before we cement everything together. You get it? It's draining pretty quick.
Should we flip it, or would you rather have it bowed upward?
Alright, Vanessa and I got the rest of the 4x4s put up yesterday. Today I'm going to go ahead and try and get as many of the 2x4s for the walls done. Hopefully I can get all of them done today. Then maybe start the ceiling joists maybe tomorrow or something. It's coming along pretty well, I think. I think it's a pretty big structure for 2 ducks. So 2 days ago, Vanessa and I took a break on the duck house build, and we actually won some pretty unique items at an auction. So this is 20 18-foot cast iron street lights. Really don't know what we're going to do with 20 of them. We found the company that manufactures these. I believe it's called Hanover Lanterns. Hanover, Philadelphia. It's a company in Pennsylvania that makes these. But street lights are incredibly expensive. They can start at $3,000. And what makes these cool is they're historic. They come from a town that we love on the lake here that both of us have grown up going to our whole lives. So there's historical value here, and they look awesome. I think they're going to clean up nice. They might need a little fresh coat of paint. Power washing, you can take all these straps off and stuff. I will try using something to get these clear, but these are actually only plastic here, so these aren't too expensive to replace. Here's an example of like a newer one. Hate to see something this historical go to a scrap yard, so we're going to use as many of them as here on the property as we can. and then maybe sell a few of them. It's a little off topic from this video, but I like to go back sometimes and watch videos that we make from years prior, and it's just kind of cool to see what we were doing at that time of the year. So there's definitely some options for us that I think will make for some cool videos in the future. So we did want to just show this to you guys, but it was no easy task getting these here. I got a couple pictures here, I'll show it. Alright, so I think I decided on what we're going to do with this self-draining system. I think I'm just going to kind of button up what we have, but I think for now I'm just going to drill a couple holes so it can kind of slow drain out of this pipe. I got a cap for the bottom there. I'm going to drill a few holes in the cap so it'll slow drain out the bottom, and maybe it'll come up and drain out of this drain here. If for some reason this system doesn't work properly, I can always just use a submersible pump and drain it out that way. But I think it'll work. Even if we use the submersible pump, you can at least wash it out and drain kind of the last little bit. So I think we're going to just kind of go with this for now and button it up, and then I'm going to accumulate a few more jobs that require renting an excavator, and then I'll rent it and I'll come and probably redig this up and expand this draining system. Alright, so I just got to cut the bottom out of this, and I'll set that there. I'll have a grate on top. Take the grate off, and you should be able to access the shutoff that way. Alright, got all the plumbing done for the most part. Got this box secured. A little mine shaft there, so you can take this off and access the shutoff valve. You know, I don't think this is enough plumbing to handle full pressure of 270 gallons emptying out. So for now, we'll probably do a very slow drain. So for now, I think we got it. We're gonna fill it up with water and let the ducks test it out, and probably tomorrow I'll start filling it back up with this fill dirt here. So I think it's safe to say they have overgrown their pool. I think they're gonna be happy to have the new pool.
Duck approved.
Ooh, Gerdie.
Gerdie.
Jesus.
Aw, you okay, Gerdie? What do you guys think? See that toad?
Okay, so that's slow. That's like kind of open. That's not doing too bad, right? You know, that's like pretty open. I mean, like, they could do a slow drain if you think it's going, you know. Yeah, maybe a slow drain. Yeah. I think that's good enough test. So it's been a little challenging working with this hardware cloth. Our technique gets progressively better as we progress through the project. This first one here I think is actually so bad we're gonna have to redo it. Our strategy with this is we use like just kind of regular staples to get it in place, and I don't recommend that. It made it very difficult. So after we failed like 2 or 3 times getting it in place with the staples, we decided to try using some washers with some screws, and we found out that that worked really, really well. So we moved on to this one and used just an insane amount of screws and washers. We get to those two where we only have a screw and a washer just on each corner, and start using the proper nails that we bought to nail in the hardware cloth. And these two look the best. It's getting a little better. We probably should have watched a video or two before we dove into it, but you know, each one got progressively better, and we definitely got the hang of it now. I'm not going to film this process just because it's a little mundane, so I'll check back in when we're done with the hardware cloth. Alright, so we're still plucking away at the hardware cloth here on the walls. Looks pretty decent. This stuff is really difficult to work with. Out of all the construction jobs that I've done, working with this hardware cloth has to be one of my least favorite materials to work with. It's just a pain in the butt to pull it tight, get it square. The most challenging part is working with the bubbles along the side here. Like, you can get one side perfect, and the other side will be a bubbled mess, so you'll just have like little pockets like that you can't work out, and it's really frustrating. It really slows the process down, because every single one of these rolls of this wire, you can see one of these sides is wavy, and it's always the wavy side that is incredibly difficult to work with. We're going to keep plucking away at it today. We still got a few more panels. We got to frame out this door here, and we want to build the duck house in that back corner over there. So we're going to keep plucking away today, hopefully finish a majority of this hardware cloth, and then we'll keep on going. got all of the framing done for the most part. Framed out 2 little windows for them for ventilation. We'll put hardware cloth here on the interior, and then I'll frame out a little wooden insert for this window for the winter time to be able to block that off. I got the first interior piece of plywood cut and kind of jigsawed out here. It's kind of a pain in the butt, so I got that piece cut. I kind of got to go around and do the rest of the interior as well as the exterior. We are going to go ahead and insulate the walls like we did the floor. We are in Michigan and we do get pretty cold winters, so I think the ducks will appreciate being able to retain their body heat and their warmth in this duck house. So I am going to insulate it. I don't think that's necessary from what I read, but I kind of took all this effort to make this duck house as nice as we can, so I might as well go the extra step and insulate it for them. Not in any way, shape, or form am I an expert when it comes to framing or building, so if there's anything with this design that I could have improved, you know, be sure to let us know down in the comments. This is something I just kind of whipped up in my head. So for the roof, I'm going to use a sheet of plywood on these 2 diagonal 2x4s here. And that piece of plywood is going to be on hinges, so you'll be able to kind of lift it up. We got some leftover shingles from when we did the Amish buildings, so I'll shingle it. We'll have no problems with rain or anything like that, but it'll be nice just to be able to lift it up. Maybe get a gas strut or like a chain or some sort of way to be able to kind of hook it so it stays up, and then that way you can get in here and clean it out nice and easy. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting the rest of it. It's pretty intricate, boring measuring, so I think I'm not going to film too much of it, and I will check back in when I'm done. Alright, so I finished up as much as I can get done with the inside of the duck house. I got 2 of the inside walls completed. I got to run to the lumber store tomorrow and pick up a couple sheets of plywood. So I think for this evening we're going to shift our focus over to kind of buttoning up the pond area. Vanessa's cleaning that out right now. I'm going to put a couple more bags of pea gravel in here. We're going to fill this hole back in. We're going to clean that pond out, fill that pond full of water, and then we're also going to spread all of this drainage rock and these egg rocks in the pond area, because we noticed the ducks like to kind of dig their beaks in the dirt and bring a bunch of dirt into the pond, and it really makes a mess of it. So we're hoping these rocks will help mitigate that and kind of button this whole area up. So when it comes time to clean the pond out, we wanted to have some options in terms of how we emptied this pond out. One of the ways obviously is the self-draining pond system that we showed earlier in the video, and the other way is by using a submersible pump and just kind of reusing this water and pumping it to a sprinkler system. That way we can water our grass and stuff like that. I've heard some mixed reviews online that duck water is either really great for the grass and trees and plants like that, or it's too nitrogen rich and it's actually harmful for the grass. I'm not 100% sure there. I'll have to do a little more research. If there's any experts out there, definitely would appreciate your input down in the comments. The sprinkler system actually seems to be working pretty well, and we're only pumping this with a 1/8 horsepower pump. You can go up to half horsepower, 1 horsepower submersible pump, but the 1/8 horsepower seems to be powering this sprinkler just fine. Alright, so I framed out this door yesterday. It was so incredibly humid that I decided to just kind of wrap it up. I was dripping sweat just framing this door together. And once I put it in, I noticed that 1, I made it way too tight, so I would have to take it apart, trim it up a little bit. And 2, which I knew was going to be an issue, I just wanted to get the door in and see how bad it was. But this board right here is incredibly bowed. So what I'm thinking about doing is taking these staples out here on the inside, removing this board and putting one in that isn't as bowed. So I think that's what I'm going to work on today. Alright, got that board out. You can really see how bowed it is down there. So I'm going to put a straighter one in there and see if that helps any. Alright, got the new board in for the door. I cut like 8 of these little spacers and I placed them along the bottom here, along the side, and clamped them just to kind of get everything as square and as plumb as I could. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that center one right out. So yeah, I got everything cut for the trim and stuff for the duck house. I stained it up. I gotta wait for it to dry, and I'll apply some polyurethane. Then I also got these cut, which this is going to be a little overhang for the duck house so the rain won't go in there. So I cut 2 of these. One will go there, another one will go there, and then I'll put a piece of plywood over top of it, and maybe I'll shingle it. That way when it does rain, it'll keep the rain out of the duck house. Also, I sunk a few screws here because there was a gap. Caulked it up. Also, we forgot to caulk that whole seam there, so we put a white bead caulk kind of along that whole way there. So once that caulk dries, we'll paint it. So once that caulk is painted and the trim and the window and door trims on, the duck house will be completed. Alright, I got 4 of these cut to cover up my mistake here with this trim. These were buggers to cut all the different angles, but should look nice. Should fit on there. Will fit that little angle perfect. It should fit the angle down there perfect. So I'm going to nail these on and stain them up. Alright, the duck house is officially completed, which is awesome. I just finished up building these awnings. I got them trimmed up, framed out, shingled, and I think they turned out okay. I kind of winged the design. I could have probably made it look a little better. I had to take a few extra steps to kind of make it look nice by adding these little trim pieces and stuff. Had I gave it a little more thought beforehand, I probably could have avoided doing all that. But other than that, I think everything on the duck house turned out pretty decent. Yeah, Vanessa went ahead and put some pine shavings in there, so we'll go ahead and see if the ducks want to test it out.
Go on, you pretty cat. Go on. I haven't really done much yet.
And next I'm going to move on to building a little area for the feeding station. we got this old owl that was left on the property when we bought it. We thought it would be cool to paint it up and display it to hopefully prevent predators and stuff. So I've got a satin black, a gloss black, and a matte hammered black. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use, but I'm going to test it out and paint this thing up. Wow. Alright, got the predator apron on for the most part. I just got to do this side over here, which that pile of dirt is in the way. So I got to move that dirt, and I think I'm going to place it on top of the predator apron, and I'll build it up so we can have some proper water drainage. And then I think I'm going to plant some grass seed over top of it. That way we don't have loose sand just kind of hanging around the duck house. Alright, we are still plucking along here with the hardware cloth and kind of regrading up to the edges there. I can't think of the brand name offhand, but I'll be sure to leave a link in the description to these exact lights. Ooh. Alright, we are finally officially completed with the duck house. There are a few minor details that we still need to work out. Still got to find a statue to match the other owl and just like little stuff like that. But for the most part, this is 100% completed and the ducks are able to start sleeping in here at night. So yeah, I'll show you around. Planted all the grass seed right here, so I'm using this pad as a little stepping stone. Got the retractable spring up there, so if you're in here and you want to latch it, you can just latch it just like so. But yeah, this is the duck house. This is the pond area. We put rocks all around it to help mitigate the ducks digging their beaks in the dirt and bring it in the pond. Also just to kind of keep this area not as muddy and stuff like that. And so far I think it's actually going to work out pretty well for us. The ducks really seem to enjoy their pond area, which is great. You can see here we have that huge dirt mound. I moved that out of the way kind of regraded it and stuff and planted grass seed to kind of flatten it out. And then I just kind of have this treated 2x4 here just to kind of keep the rocks in. This might change in the future. I think it's working just fine right now. If we move over to this direction here, we've got a little table and chairs that we set up. So Vanessa and I can come out here and sit and watch the ducks. Sit here and have our coffee, you know, stuff like that. And if you move over this direction, we've got a little bin here that we store all the duck feed in. You can see there we got the feed here. And we've got some of their mealworm treats that they like, and then just a little scooper bowl for them. So put that back on. Right here, we've got the duck house. This little ramp is a new addition. I haven't seen the ducks use it. We'll see if that works. So yeah, so this is the color scheme that we're thinking about painting all the buildings here on our property. If you saw a couple videos ago, we got a couple Amish buildings built here on site, and we're thinking about painting it the green and then staining all the trim accents with this stain here. So definitely let us know what you think of this color scheme. I think I like it. If you move over this way, we made a little feeding station, which seems to work out pretty well. You know, ducks can get messy, so I figured if we added stone, you can just kind of hose this area off and then all the stuff will kind of fall to the bottom. We might refine the feeding and watering station a little more, but for now I think these bowls will work out just fine since we only have 2 ducks. And that'll bring us up to the roof here. You can see we got all of the solar lights completed. We ran 2 48-foot strands of the solar lights. We got the solar panels installed as well. This is the brand of light that we used. I'll be sure to leave a link to these in the description of this video if you're interested. So yeah, that's pretty much everything here in the duck house. Pretty simple design, but I think it turned out pretty decent. Now I'll take you outside and give you a little walk around the exterior. So yeah, we graded that, and then also I added these 2 slate pavers here that we got. This owl was left here on the property. As you saw earlier in the video, I painted this up and placed it here to hopefully deter predators from coming up to the structure. I'd like to find a matching one or something equally as cool to place here, so I'm going to keep an eye out for that. The self-draining pond system is working pretty well. For the most part, we've been using the submersible pump as well as the self-draining pond system, and it seems to be working pretty well. Like I said, we moved this massive dirt pile that we dug out from the pond here, kind of leveled it out, planted grass seed, and then we installed those cast iron little hooks here on each 4x4. Vanessa got these little cast iron hooks on Amazon, so I'll leave a link to those in the description of this video. Then we'll come around the back side, check out the exterior of the duck house. I think it looks pretty decent. I kind of winged the design on this little rain shelter. I think it turned out okay considering. Probably would have done it slightly different if I were to do it again. This little awning is effective though. We've had some intense rain and it has kept the inside of the duck house completely dry. So I'm happy about that. Coming along the back side, you got this on hinges. You can see inside there. This is pretty heavy. I still need to install a gas strut. I'll show you. You can see inside there. Looks pretty decent. I'll shut it. So I think that's going to be a wrap for this video. I had a ton of fun building this duck house. I learned a lot. It was a great experience. If I were to do it again, I would probably do a few things differently. It's just kind of how everything works out. I know this is going to be an incredibly lengthy video. So if you're still here, I just want to say thanks. You know, if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, you know, be sure to subscribe. And I'll leave you with some B-roll of the duck house. Thanks for watching.